to start out by asking you guys a question, and that is, what are your financial priorities? What are you currently saving up for? Anything? Wow, right off the bat. Okay. Anyone else?
House.
The house, okay, all right. No one else is saving up for anything else. That's okay. You know what? We'll start with this first one right here. All right? So you guys might be saving up for different things depending on what stage of life you're in, right? So you might be saving up for the house that Jason was talking about. Maybe you're looking to replace an old car, paying off some credit card loans, or maybe even saving up to get married, right? Regardless of what stage you are in life, or at in life, the one thing that we have to focus on and make a priority is saving for retirement. Because the fact is, a growing number of Americans today are facing the reality that they're not prepared for retirement. So what we're going to talk about today is making sure that we have a full understanding of what the retirement crisis is. We're going to talk about the causes, what causes this issue, and what we can do to help ourselves and make sure that we put ourselves in a good position to save for retirement when we get there. All right, the first thing we're going to talk about is really just putting some points around the crisis. So I can go off and talk about a number of different points. We're going to talk about three in particular today. And the first one is that more Americans today risk outliving their assets. This is a huge issue. What I have here, this is from Ernst & Young, and this just shows the probability of New Jersey retirees that are outliving their assets. We're breaking it down into two main groups here. So people that are near retirement, which is between 5 and 10 years to that point. People that are at retirement are really the people at 65 and beyond. Within that, we break it down into two other categories, or subcategories rather, people with pensions, people without current pensions. And the numbers are really astonishing. So the people that are near retirement, in total, 75% of them will outlive their assets. For the people that are at retirement today, only 62% of them will outlive their assets. It's still a huge number. But you can see the further you get away from retirement, the greater chance you have of outliving your assets. Next thing I want to talk about here is the fact that most Americans don't have a plan for retirement. You know, they don't have that savings plan. Maybe they don't have the right accounts. This comes to us from Wells Fargo. This is a survey that was done with 1,800 households for salaries ranging between $25,000 and $100,000. The respondents, 75% of them said they expected to work during retirement. Now this is personally something that I don't want to have to be doing. And another 67% of them said they don't have a plan in place. So it's definitely something we need to focus on and a big part of the issue. And lastly, part of the issue is the growing number of people that are entering retirement. So this comes to us from MRA Market Facts Quarterly. Really between the years 2010 and 2040, we're going to be doubling the amount of people that are entering retirement to 85 million people. It's an astonishing number. And with that comes added stress on the Social Security Administration. So the reserves are really going to be exhausted by year 2033, which is amazing to me because that's less than 20 years. We'll all still be working. At that point, taxes will cover about 75% of the payouts, but that will only last 50 years, so we'll still have to deal with that. All right, now that we've talked about the issue a little bit, let's talk about some of the causes. And the first big cause that I want to talk about here is the fact that a lot of companies these days just aren't offering pensions. The number of companies offering pensions or defined benefit plans has significantly decreased, and I've got some numbers to back that up as well. This also comes from the same Wells Fargo survey with the same 1,800 households there. So the percentage of people in their 60s that have pension income, we're talking about 59% of those people. For people in their 50s, it's only 55%, and it gets even lower as you go down. In their 40s, we're only talking about 36% of the people. And with us, we're a lot younger than that. We're going to be significantly lower. And working at Bank of America, I think we all know, none of us have a defined benefit plan. All right, some of the other things to consider as causes for the issue. Americans don't put enough money into savings. All right, from the same survey, the average amount of money that these people had in their savings was $31,000. But what I found astonishing is they estimated that they would need $1.5 million to retire comfortably. The problem is they're sitting at 2% right now, so they are way too overconfident in their ability to stretch their financial assets. All right, and just to give you an idea of what that kind of works out to be, again, from from the same survey from Wells Fargo here, the people in their 50s out of those 800 households, the average retirement savings was $29,000, so a little bit lower than for the entire group. And when you break that down into 20 years of retirement and saving at 5% annually per year, that only gets out to $190 a month. And I don't know about you guys, but I can't feed myself on $190 a month, let alone pay for my mortgage or anything else. So this is an extremely low number, and it's something that should definitely open people's eyes. All right, another cause is that people are afraid of what they don't understand. So a lot of people here, maybe they do have accounts, maybe they don't. Maybe they get some statements, they probably just throw them in a drawer, they don't read them, especially if the account goes down, right? They're afraid to come to the realization that they might be losing money. So it's very important that we educate ourselves, start early, and make sure we don't ignore the issue until it's too late. All right. Another part of the cause here, Americans are living longer. I think that goes without saying. With advances in modern science today, people are going to continue to live longer as we go on. Right now, the life expectancy is 79. But if we take some statistics here from Business Wire around the medical expenses, a couple at age 65 right now, heading into retirement, is going to need $240,000 to cover medical expenses throughout retirement. It's a huge number, and if you track back to the numbers we were just talking about, the median average incomes or average savings of $31,000, you're nowhere near the amount of money you're going to need just to be able to afford your health care. All right, now that we understand a little bit about what the retirement crisis is and some of the causes that go into where we stand today, let's talk about some of the things we can do to avoid it. So the first thing really, and the most important, is saving early and saving often. So let's take a quick look at this example here. We have two investors, investor A and investor B. Both are saving for retirement. They're going to retire at age 65. They're putting away $5,000 a year at 6%. The difference is investor A is starting to save at age 25. Investor B starts to save at age 35. But the huge difference comes at the bottom. Investor A is able to save $400,000 more than investor B. All right? This is called the power of compounding. It's going to be very important for us to understand this concept as we move forward towards retirement. We've got a little graph here just to show you the extreme amount of savings that, or extreme advantage rather, that investor A has over investor B. So beyond that, it's going to be very important for us to understand our options. And we're going to talk about three options today. First is going to be your 401k, and then two different types of IRA accounts. So first, let's get into the 401k accounts. All right, this is going to be your pre-tax option. The money comes out of your paycheck. Pre-tax goes into an investment account. It's your set it and forget it option here. And a lot of us, including us here today from Bank of America, we do have a match available to us. So it's very important that if you're not putting away the suggested between 10 and 15% to save for retirement, at least put away the minimum to reach your max for the match. All right. There are a couple limits to consider there. $18,000 for anyone under the age of 50. But if you're 50 and over, you're able to contribute $24,000 annually. All right, now let's talk about the IRA accounts a little bit. So the first one's going to be your traditional IRA. This is going to be your tax-deferred option. So you're only going to pay taxes on it when the money comes out of your account in retirement. Now the second option is going to be your Roth IRA account. This is going to be with tax dollars that you're investing. So when you take the money out of retirement, the money's tax-free, it's yours free and clear to use. All right, it's important to know that the limits have changed slightly for this. So for anyone under the age of 50, you're going to be looking at $5,500 annually to contribute. Anyone 50 and over is going to be $6,500 annually. All right, once you understand your options, you're going to want to consult a professional to understand what type of assets you need to invest in for where you're at along the retirement path. And once you've done that, it's going to be important for us to review the assets, review the accounts, and make sure that we make any adjustments, again, depending on where we are along the retirement path there. The most important thing for us to do, once we've done all of that, is make sure that we take control of our lives by budgeting, right? So pay yourself first. This is very important. I know that as we're going through life, we've got different bills, mortgages, car payments, and whatnot. Don't forget to pay yourself first and work it into your budget before going on and taking care of all of your other responsibilities in life, right? avoid overspending on big ticket items. Mortgages, cars, things of that nature. If you feel like you're going to have to stretch, maybe take a step back and consider a cheaper alternative. And lastly, make a plan to eliminate debt before retirement. All right, so you don't want things like mortgages or car loans eating away at that small budget that you have in retirement. It's going to be harder for you to make that up, so you're going to want to slowly but surely reduce your debt as you go into retirement. Now, we talked about a lot of things today, including the retirement crisis, what causes that crisis, and what we can do to prepare for that. And again, like I said in the beginning, we're all at different stages of life. We have different responsibilities, and we're saving up to buy different things. But keep in mind, your first priority along this entire journey, really, to retirement, is to prepare for that moment. So again, I ask you, will you be prepared?